Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Sitting behind me today is my little brother's 89 Chevy K1500 build, and we are going to be starting out part 4 of this video series. In part 1, we picked up the truck. In part 2, I gave you guys a little bit of a how-to of us pulling out the engine. Now, part 3, we've just dropped a new crate engine Chevy 350 in this truck. We got to hear it start. Now, part 4, we're just going to tie this thing up and hopefully go for a drive in it today and see if everything goes good on the truck. A couple of the small things that we got going on. The alternator is not doing its job, so it's not charging. The truck, there was a problem with this little post in the last video. I tied it up. I was able to get this post to sit tight onto the alternator, but I think it messed something up inside. So not the end of the world. It was kind of a dead alternator to begin with that issue. So you win some, you lose some. We are also having a problem where we are turning the truck over and the oil pressure gauge right down below there is it's just not moving. So it could be the sending unit, so we're going to put a new sending unit in there today. It could also be due to the fact that the alternator isn't doing its job. We're not getting a proper voltage reading unless the gauge is also wrong. But like I said, we figured we needed a new alternator last video. Thought we saved it. It's still bad, so not a big deal. Hopefully we'll get this thing started up and bring it down the road. I got to put a new sensor on the side of the head down here, and I'm also going to put the fan shroud on. It's a little cold today. It's like November 12th, I think. So far, it's only been 2 weeks and a day. The car is, the truck's not going to see the road today, but you're going to see it in this video. We just got to tie everything up, get it ready for its first trip. Tomorrow, hopefully, James will get over to the town hall, register this thing, and we'll get to take it for a ride. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I think the first thing I'm going to start with is the sensor right on the side of the block here. They give us a little plug. We got a hex head right on the side of the block that they kind of just block off for us in case you don't have the sensor, but we do. So I'm gonna slide this in there now. It's coming out really smooth. Thought it was gonna be in there pretty tightly. Hoping oil doesn't just pour right out of here, so I'm probably gonna be quick to drop the sensor right in there. We'll find out the hard way. I guess I don't need this now though. See what happens here. Hopefully it doesn't just pour. Yeah, I knew that was, oh, it's coolant. Oh, it's a coolant temp sensor. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Well, it's gonna be a mess, but that's okay. We'll get it in there. So we spilled out some coolant. We're tightening up this sensor now, though. Just want to go till snug. I ran some, as you can see, some Teflon tape around there. We just don't want it to leak, so probably 1 or 2 more turns. It won't get too tight per se, but I'm gonna give this 1 or 2 more turns, and that should be good there. Then this sensor plugs in the weirdest way. Right? This is just straight up and down, but this sensor is round. So instead of plugging it in directly, it actually sits sideways on the sensor, something like that. And I just thought that was so interesting. So we're going to put this fan shroud back in place. I believe that the shroud goes under the radiator hose. Might need 2 hands to get this in place, but it shouldn't be too tricky. Then we just gotta bolt it down, and a bolt here, here. And then there's 2 spots, one right there, one right there that it bolts up to. And then that'll be in place. Got a nice bag of screws. They just go right in place. I'll snug them up with a ratchet in a minute, but we got our shroud all in place. That's looking good. This thing's really starting to look complete. I'm pretty excited to get it to start again and hopefully get this thing moving, going down the road. Hopefully it goes well, because it'll be a fun truck for James to drive this winter. Something we got going on right now is right down there. You'll see a little gold block. I'll try to make it visual. And to that gold block down there, you can see the little fitting going into it. We have attached a oil pressure gauge, a mechanical one, to where the oil pressure sensor would be, because the gauge inside the truck isn't working. So we're going to see if this thing's got pressure when we start it up today. All right, we had to hook this thing up to the battery tender. For some reason, we either just lost spark or we flooded it or something of the matter, but we know our alternator is bad. We're going to get a new alternator on there. We're going to charge up this battery, and we're going to come back out and start it up. But we do have oil pressure, which is an awesome thing. So it does confirm it's either the gauge is busted or the sending unit down below is busted, or or the sensor, whatever it may be. But we're going to come back out here later and take a better look. Change out the coil pack. Wow, the coil pack literally killed itself. All right, guys, I thought we'd be finished tonight, but we came across a heap of odd issues. So the new alternator that we just got in just was literally seized out of the box. So happens, not a big deal. We're going to change out the coil pack. This coil pack literally died on us earlier. So we put in a used one, but I'm going to have James pick up a new coil pack. And we're going to burp the system. We got it all timed, so that should be all good there. But we are good for the night. I got to go down below and put in a new sending unit for the oil pressure sensor. And I got to plug in the other sensor and take apart this, get rid of this temporary gauge for the oil pressure. So yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Well, and there you have it. We have oil pressure, so I'm going to switch that back out to the sensor and to take out this mechanical gauge, but we know it's got pressure, so the engine is good there. We're going to put in a new coil pack as well. Last night when we tried starting this thing up, the coil pack died. I mean, thankfully we had a spare, but I got James buying a brand new one. That way it'll just, last him some time. He's also got a new alternator coming in. The other one was seized right out of the box, so that was interesting. But what I got going on right now is I'm going to pull out that old coil pack, swap out that sensor in the back, and there's a sending unit down below we got to change out for the oil pressure as well. All right, we are under the driver's side of the truck right now. Right there is the sending unit, this little cylinder thing right there. We're going to unplug that. Hopefully I can even reach. All right, cool. We're unplugged, and right down here is my new one. So we're going to pull this out. You can see the little... You can see the little plug at the top there. Nice and clean this one is. Already got some Teflon tape around it. The hole is super, super small, so we want to make sure we don't get anything in there. But what I got to do first is get the one that's on the truck off of the truck. So I don't want that to get dirty. I'm going to place that down. So I'm hoping maybe I can get a wrench on it or underneath it. Probably underneath it would be better. Go right to like the stem of it. See if this 9/16 will fit on there. And hopefully I can just kind of crack it. I need a different... Oh, looks like we might be good. I should be able to just turn it. Oh, looks like she's coming free. That's a good thing. That's a very good sign for us. I'm not sure if oil is just going to pour out of here or not. So we're going to find out the hard way real fast. But it's coming. There we go. We got it off. All right, it doesn't look like oil is going to pour out on us. That's kind of a nice thing. But I'm going to get to this new clean one all threaded up in there. We're making some progress. It is spinning right on there. So that is a wonderful thing. And I just got to plug it in and we'll be good with this sending unit. So the only other thing I got to do to this engine that I just completely forgot to do is I didn't realize that this came off of this engine. There is a bracket on the other side holding up a heater core hose. That's what I thought this was originally. But it is not. It actually goes on the back of the head on this side of the engine, plugs into our brake booster, and then runs to the intake right down here. So I got to struggle and unbolt the brackets that I have holding up the harness, bolt this bracket in place, just literally snap the hose onto here. There might be a clamp, and if not, I'll probably add one. And then the biggest thing is just screwing this threaded piece into the intake. I might add a little Teflon tape on this as well. And hopefully it'll all go well, because I don't think it should be too hard. The only thing I can hope for is that this breaks free. It's a 9/16 on the intake. Oh, look at that. It's turning. Well, as long as it doesn't snap in there, we're going to have a good day. Don't want to jinx it. Oh, it looks like it's coming loose. All right, that's awesome. Good, good, good. That's exactly what we want to see. Perfect. All right. Cool. Now I just got to mount up that bracket, and we can send it in there. What it is on that line right here, there's actually a fitting that needs to come off and get fitted on there first, and then I screw this hose into it. Kind of interesting. Thought it was going to be a one-piece thing, but it's not. I'll throw a little... I don't know if I should throw Teflon on there or not. I'll throw a little. Now we just got to thread this little fitting in here like so, if it starts, and then we can attach our other line right into the back of it. Well, there it is. Our line's all connected. I'm going to try to find a hose clamp for that a little later, but got my bracket on the back of there now. Everything is good and tight, so I think we're good. All we got to do is throw the alternator on and the coil pack when James gets home. Lastly, the airbox once we're all done, but that should be it. And I believe he registered the truck today, so hopefully we'll get to see the license plates go on this later on. And pretty excited, boys. Yo, what is up, guys? We are back out here. It is a new day, and we are going to be throwing on the alternator and this coil pack. So y'all kind of already saw me take this all apart and put it back together multiple times. Something I just realized, though, is I actually have to switch over this little bracket on the coil pack. That's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting to do that. So we're just going to want to line that up. However, this one sits and send our screws in. Is there nuts on the other side? There is. Wow, that's very interesting. So we're going to get this bracket set up on here. We're going to go drop it in the back there. Look at this. Alternator spins freely. We're good to go there. So that is going to get thrown in the truck as well. So I've swapped the bracket over. The nice thing about this coil pack is you can see there's a fork down there. So it bolts right into that that spot right there. Then there's just a hole right there we got to bolt it down to. Then we're done. I don't know how I should run these fuel lines. I was trying to run them down below. It was not having it. So I guess this is going to have to do for now. And we'll tighten it up. And maybe we'll come back to this in the future and see what we can do with these fuel lines. All right, I've gotten the coil pack bolted down. We just got our plugs up on top of there. I'm going to throw this alternator in because I don't know what bolts go where. I'll figure it out as I go. But once that's in, we'll be good to go. We can slap our belt back on. All right, I'm adding this little ring up on here now. We're going to add this piece for the air intake. We just got to keep turning it, keep turning it. We've gotten our alternator and belts in place. It was just 3 bolts. And I actually have to plug in the alternator right back here. So I will do that in a second. But I wanted to get the air intake on. And we'll have to find something later for this to plug into this this hole. So we'll get to that later on. But man, are we getting close to getting this thing on the road. Ready? Done. The engine is back in. I am so happy right now. This is awesome. We got to put the plates on the truck and then drive this thing. So what is up, guys? So running around in the driveway, we noticed the truck's skipping out a little bit. The distributor cap looked pretty bad, so we're going to replace that and the button this morning, which is just real simple stuff. And then the other thing we're going to change out is this O2 sensor that sits on the side of the manifold. We just think it's running a little poorly, so hopefully swapping this out will make the truck perform a little better, and we'll be able to take it out on its first drive. So honestly, this should be real simple. There's just 2 screws on each side of the distributor cap. I got to pull those off and just unplug these wires and plug them in the same way and drop my new cap on. That'll be real simple. I'm just going to get to that other screw somewhere behind here and take this thing off. All right, we've gotten the cap off, and just in there, it's a little worn down. Nothing too bad, though. It could be worse. This cap's pretty old and dirty, so that can come out of there. This one sits on that pretty tight. Good. Now I got to swap out the cap. Alrighty, our distributor cap and wires are all set back up with a new button as well. And right down here is our O2 sensor. So I just got to get a wrench right on there and bust this free. We're going to unplug it as well, which it plugs in just right here. And I have the leverage to stand on it to get that free. Alrighty, now we're making a little progress. She's coming off kind of hard, but it's a big wrench. It's been on there a long time. Don't expect too much from it. There we go. Gonna loosen this up and slide in our new one. All right, so here is our old O2 sensor. Pretty smoked. I mean, it's old though. There's nothing more than you can expect out of it to look like that. But this one's got a little anti-seize on the threads right from the part store, which is nice. It just bolts in down below in that exhaust manifold. I just gotta find a good way to get my hand in there. All right, we've gotten our new O2 sensor on there, tightening it up now. And I just gotta plug it in after, and we'll start the truck and see how she runs. Alrighty, we are all set down there. This is where things start to get exciting though. We're gonna start it up, see how it runs in the driveway first. But James got some plates, and they're the lighthouse plates. So nothing's more cool and American than some American flag lighthouse plates to go on his 89 Chevy. But we're gonna slap these on right now. Alright, we've gotten our plates on. Now, I think we're just gonna start this thing up. See what happens, figure it out. I'm excited, honestly. Wow, that startup is clean. Look at the oil pressure gauge back in action. Just gonna let it idle for a few. That sounds very clean though. Honestly, like, not disappointed with that at all. All put back together. It's running great right now, so hopefully our first test drive goes fairly well. So we are in here now for the first time, and curious to see how this is gonna go. We're in drive. Touchy pedal. Yeah, it is. Very touchy. So far so good. There's lots of little things that we're definitely gonna have to play around with, but. Okay, your speedometer works. That's a plus. Check your brakes. Sweet. All right, let's go. First shift felt great. That felt good, dude. It's very cool though. Get it out on its first drive. Really, first impressions, this thing is driving super, super smooth. All the gauges seem to be working. It's not overheating. It does have an active state inspection from New Hampshire right now. Maine honors that, which is kind of cool. So James got like a good month before he's got to get it Maine state inspected. It feels safe though. The brakes work and everything great, but it's still good for us to check it out. Definitely need some tie rod ends. They look to be like their factory. They're probably not, but they're pretty old. But yeah, this first test drive is great. A little noisy. It's old. Things, those are the things to expect. It takes about a football field to stop just because it's old. But other than that, it's going to make a really good daily driver for James. All right, we've made it to the gas station. Now, the biggest thing is we have to hope that the truck starts back up when we want to leave. That is the most crucial thing. First impressions, James. How you feeling?
Good.
That's good. Gonna get the cinematics of it at the gas station. Beautiful. Love to see it out for its first time. How are you feeling now?
Not too good anymore.
It's still going, dude. You just got a really big tank under here, so. Look at that, dude. Listen to this thing purr. Well, all right, everybody. I think that's going to be it for today's video. Super excited to get James's truck out on the road for the first time. It's essentially all good to go as far as like legality. It's registered, insured, inspected, so that's good. But we got a couple little things that we got to look at just all around. So there will be a part 5, but this is essentially, like, you could say this is pretty much the end of it. I mean, part 5 is just pretty much going to consist of us just walking around it and starting to clean it up, make it a little nicer. There's little things all around the truck that need touching up. There's little things that still need some fixing every here and there. But pretty much for getting the truck and getting it on the road, that's pretty much it for that part of the series. So thanks y'all so much for checking it out. Super excited to see this next to James's current daily driver, his 81, 87 SS clone Monte Carlo. Kind of a whole thing. There's a whole series about it on the channel as well. But this is cool. So this is going from James's daily to passing the torch to his new daily. And now this just gets to be his fun car. So this one doesn't have to see a winter this year is kind of the hope. And everything's looking really good there. So excited to see what's to come for this truck on the channel. He wants to do a lot of stuff to this one as well. And those are kind of the things we want to bring you guys along for next video. There's a lot of lights and lenses around it that are faded, and a couple things underneath that are a little interesting that we got to touch up on. The interior is in need of some love as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. So if you want to see some more content on James's 89 Chevy K1500, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and peace out.